me, and back in the 60s, meat and dairy were big, and that's what we were supposed to do. So I kind of grew up on that, and I started having problems, in my late 20s and early 30s. When I graduated high school, I weighed 250 plus, and then when I became like 30 years old, I started having health issues, high blood pressure, started getting pre-diabetes and cholesterol problems. And I thought I was mighty young for that. And of course, they blamed it on my genetics and told me I'm just the unlucky one. And I thought I was born unlucky. I didn't know I could change any of this. So after, taking insulin for 25 years, high blood pressure medication for 25 years, and eating Lipitor for my cholesterol, and they couldn't bring it down below 360 and told me that it was genetics. And I was following their diet. They wanted to put me on insulin. I didn't want to take the shot, so I started eating fattier foods like they told me, eat chicken, lean chicken and fish. And I had avocados, and I tried cutting out all the carbs. And then I would go into the doctor's office and he'd yell at me and say, "Hey, Jim, I told you to lose weight and you're gaining weight." And of course, he was giving me shots of insulin, which caused me to gain weight. And it was just every time I went in, every couple of months, I'm gaining weight. And he's increasing my insulin, and it never did any good. And my A1C was out of control. It was up to 10 and 11. Now, this was about 10 years ago. I was pretty sick. I was about 280 pounds. I work as a painting contractor, and it was hard for me to do my job and climb a ladder. And I was starting to have a lot of help. And I had to hire guys to do my job a little bit better. And I stumbled on the job, and I fell down on a wire brush. And I got a simple little prick on my behind, just a little dot of blood that I noticed. And 2 days later, I felt on my behind like I had a pimple. Now, I forgot about being poked there, but that was the location that the pimple formed. And then the next day it grew, it got a little bit bigger. And I was becoming concerned. I was going to go to the hospital, and silly me, I had a $10,000 deductible to go into the emergency room unless I got a referral from my doctor. So I waited until Monday to get the referral. Since I got an infection and I had diabetes, it turned into gangrene, and then the gangrene has spread. Well, I had 26 operations in 23 days. And so I got out, that was in 2011 that I got out of the hospital. And now I was having problems since so much of my colon and intestines were taking out. I walk around, I had diarrhea 8 to 20 times a day. Then I started taking even more insulin, and I was taking up to like 130 units of insulin per day, still gaining weight. I got out of the hospital. I lost a lot of weight, of course, after being laying there for 8 months, and I was down to 200. But here it is, 5 years later, I'm up to 328 pounds. I'm still eating their high or low carb diet, eating fish, eating chicken, and following it to the T, making sure I'm not wavering. And every time I go in, you gain a little bit more weight. I'm a little bit sicker. My blood pressure was skyrocketing. I was on a high dose of blood pressure medication. They had a hard time bringing it below 160/90. My cholesterol was 360 on Lipitor. They couldn't bring it down. They told me all this is genetic. So I walked around like this for almost 8 years. And I was at the end of my rope. I didn't know what else to do. Here I am, 55, and I'm almost ready to die. And then on November 22nd, 2015, I heard a John McDougall video. We just started listening to it, and we didn't shut it off. And I'm listening to John McDougall speaking, and it started making sense after 5 or 10 minutes. And I'm like, this is something that I could do. I said, I could eat cardboard for 30 days. I started 100% plant-based on November 22nd, 2015. 3 days after I started, all of my diarrhea and all of my stomach problems went away completely. So here, 3 or 4 days on a whole food plant-based diet did more for me than 5 years worth of medication, which did nothing for me. It was easy for me to continue. Those were some of the hardest obstacles that I had, were the leg swelling up and the constant diarrhea. For that to stop was just unreal for me, to have a normal life and be able to go out for 4 or 5 hours without having to run to the bathroom. And I never needed another shot of insulin after the 10th day, from taking 130 units of insulin a day to nothing in 10 days. So now, after 14 months, I ended up losing 164 pounds. That was half my body weight. So I'm half the man I used to be. I'm down to weigh 164 pounds from 328. Just amazing. The way I feel is amazing. The first 50 years, I didn't understand nutrition and how to do it, and I wasn't in control. The next 50 years, I have under control. You're invited to my 100th birthday party. I'm planning.